My name is Dick Lee, and I'm your 2021 GBAR Global Councilman. Thank you so much for joining us today. At this point, I'd like to acknowledge our president and my dear friend, Dino Confaloni, who helped us launch this council, and for his assistance in leading our amazing association to this level here. Please enter your questions in the Q&A section down below, and we'll be monitoring throughout this session. And whether you're on Zoom or joining us on Facebook Live, we're excited to have you here for this virtual international connection as we tour Iceland. So let's take a look at Iceland. Wow, what a beautiful video, beautiful country, the wild horses, the oysters. I'm getting hungry just thinking about that because I really haven't had lunch yet. But I'm excited to tour this, excited to check out what this country has to offer. But let's get going. I'd like to introduce you to our today's speakers today for our event. Stephen Bremis, the founder of Steve Bremis Realty Group, the Bremis Collection, who is based out of Somerville, and his U.S. sales consultant, Margaret, who will discuss the Icelandic culture and the genesis of the luxury waterfront property known as, and I'm trying to pronounce this correctly, Reykjavik. I hope I said that correct or close to it. Mr. Gunnar Thordarson, attorney, will navigate us through some of the legal topics surrounding practicing real estate in Iceland. And with that said, I'll turn this over to Steve. It's all yours. as we cue this all up. Steve, don't forget to unmute yourself.
All right, I got it. You got me?
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody, this is all very exciting, and I want to thank Dino for pushing this initiative. As you can see, it's pretty incredible what we're able to bring to you as an introduction to Iceland and the incredible country and this incredible development. It's really quite impressive, to say the least. So, amid soaring tourism, we've gotten to learn a lot about Reykjavik and about Iceland, and it's really amazing. So one of the things that really interested us is it's less time via plane to get to Iceland from Boston than it is to go to California. So that's something that really impressed us. We can actually get to Iceland and see this incredible country in a lot less time than a good portion of the West Coast. As we, dove more and more into this, not only was it the natural beauty, but it was the Icelandic culture. It's one of the safest places in the world. It's tech savvy. It's, extreme. It's affluent as well. There's no air pollution, and even among the COVID numbers, they're ridiculous. They're among the leaders in the world. So it's got so much to offer culturally, etc. Margaret is going to take you through a lot of what makes Reykjavik and Iceland so special. She is an Icelandic citizen. We're very fortunate to have her on board. She brought us this project, and it's all very exciting as we look to expand our real estate business and go more global. The other thing I just want to mention too is every Greater Boston realtor has access to this development through us. So we're giving away compensation as well as very large referral fees. So we welcome participation, and we're glad to be able to bring this project to all the Greater Boston realtors. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. Margaret, I'm going to let you introduce us to your motherland.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. And thank you to Greater Boston Real Estate Board and Dick. Welcome for the very nice introduction to my beautiful homeland and my birthplace. I was born and raised in Iceland, and I immigrated to the United States when I was 15 years old. And I know a lot of people are asking, why Iceland? Well, I have to say, when I first went to visit Iceland after I moved to the US, I was, of course, growing up in Iceland, you think the whole world looks the same as where you grow up in when you're a child and a kid. When I went back to Iceland, I was struck by its mystical beauty, was kind of the way I would put it. One side, there's this black lava everywhere, and then you see the grass is the greenest grass you ever see in your entire life. You have the most amazing geothermal energy. So we have pools everywhere. Icelanders love to swim. So we have geothermal bath. We have the Blue Lagoon, which our tourists love, which is actually just built in the middle of a lava field from the airport to Reykjavik, our beautiful city, which is a metropolitan city. And it has everything that any major city in Europe has to offer, but it is a small city. But yet we have all the greatest restaurants, we have all the best museums, theaters, and everything you would want from a city. Nature, colors like you've never seen before. I've never seen colors like that. You couldn't paint colors like we have in Iceland. You have skiing. It's glacier skiing. We do recommend that you do take escorts when you go skiing. Guides and horseback riding. It's just an amazing country. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. But it's a really mystical place. It really is. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. Just a little history here. In 1969, before the astronauts were sent to the moon, they went to Iceland to practice, because certain areas of Iceland have similar landscape they thought as the moon would be. So just to get them sort of acclimated before they went to the moon. But there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to see in Iceland, and I really do recommend it because when you go there, the air is so clean. It's easy to get there. Icelandair is our airline, Icelander's personal airline. It only takes about 4.5 hours direct flight from Boston. New York is about 5 hours, but they fly to Seattle, California, Florida, Minnesota, I believe they fly to right now due to COVID. There's, of course, restrictions, but these restrictions are going to be lifted slowly. And as Steve mentioned, we have done very well with COVID. We have had 0 cases today. There have only been 3 cases, I believe, in the last 7 days. So we've done very well. But welcome to Österhöp. And Kevin is now gonna take you inside the look of our property, which we're very proud of. Kevin, take it away.
Okay, I think we're back. I'm gonna bring up the slide. So the only thing as stunning as the beauty of Iceland is Osterhofen on the harbor. So this is something that is extremely unique. It's never been done before, and it will never be done again. It is cutting edge contemporary. It's right on the harbor. It's walking distance to the heart of the city. It's actually in the heart of the city. You see cruise ships out the front. There are 31 ocean view units here, and there are 36 with direct elevator access, which is incredible. So this, you're looking at the harbor, which is actually, so it is a like a fishing village, so to speak, but it's so much more. So it's pretty high end too. You can, Margaret will get into some of what you'll have access to. But high end shops like you'd find on Fifth Ave, you're next to the only 5-star hotel that's in Reykjavik. And it's impressive. So it's by Marriott, and the similar hotels are in Dubai, just as an example. It's very high end, and like we had said before, it's pretty affluent as far as these European countries. I'm gonna, Courtney, can you bring it back for a second for me? There you go. So yeah, so the building itself is a total of 71 units. The sizes range from 530 square feet to 3,800 square feet. The units that are 3,800 square feet are penthouse, and that's the stuff that approaches 4.8 million. There are units as low as 490,000. We have actually just put our first unit under agreement, which is extremely exciting. It's a buyer from California, which will be coming through us here in Boston, and we just got that offer accepted a couple of days ago. So they all come with parking. Association fees are $6 to $850. As you can see, financing is available. So we're all kind of doing this for the first time. We're all learning, and part of that is financing, which there is the bank in Iceland on a case-by-case basis, and down payment 20 to 30%. As you see on the bottom, the interest rate's going to be 3.5% to 5.5%. And all that depends on qualifications, the loan amount, and you know exactly which unit you're buying. That all factors in. Next slide, Courtney. So like we said, 71 units in total. It is right in the heart of the Reykjavik neighborhood. You are walking distance to the center, you're walking distance to shop. The whole building is cutting edge. So as you see the notation on the bottom, the heating, lighting, charging of electric vehicles, it's all 100% sustainable geothermal energy. So they really pay particular attention, not only to the style, which is very sleek and sexy, but also to the energy efficiency, soundproofing, and lifestyle. Next slide, Courtney. So the sleekness and sexiness, a lot of these cabinets are oak and black walnut, and they come from Italy. Your appliances, merely, you know, recessed lighting. The floors are heated. Again, you know, with the soundproofing, high ceilings. The lobby is amazing. It looks like a 5-star hotel. You have outdoor space as well, depending on the unit. There are garden units, there are ocean view units. There's like 3 main variety of units, but these pictures are showing you just a sample. So one of the things too is they're all smart home ready. And one of the local ties, believe it or not, is there's a firm in Cambridge that actually did the tech for the building, which is very exciting. And one of the owners is actually, one of the partners is located here in Cambridge or in the Boston area. So you can see on the outside, there's a lot of glass. It's very sleek, very clean. And you can see the gardens, it's all professionally lit. It's all extremely impressive. Courtney, next slide. This is getting into some of the details, so you can see the lobby and how beautiful and contemporary that looks. You can see a lot of the smart house stuff in the slide that we're looking at right now. So you have Sonos integration, you have automatic remote controlled shades. The speakers are hidden, the lights are dimmable. All of this is part of your smart house technology, which is extremely impressive. You have underground parking, so there's parking available for all units. Personal services include shopping, childcare, and pet service. All right, next. Margaret, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Steve. Well, Iceland is a very advanced country. It's a very small population, but it's a very advanced country. We're very tech savvy, and we have probably one of the highest literacy rate on the planet. We always say per capita in Iceland, and the joke is that by the time the kid learns how to speak, it knows how to say per capita. And that's, that's one of the things we learn very quickly. But we live in probably one of the most peaceful nations on the planet. I mean, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark will say, well, so do we. We have our equality standards, our equality, I mean, women's rights, gay rights, transgender rights. It's very important to Icelanders. So in that sense, child-friendly, extremely child-friendly. It's easy to have a child in Iceland, as in the US. It's very expensive. It's very expensive childcare. As in Iceland, it's almost free. And it feels safe for children to be there. They can sort of run around and feel happy and play outside, and it's a lot to do, and it's easy, I think, compared to in the US. So it's ranked probably as one of the best countries in the world and the happiest. I know that Iceland and Norway and Denmark and Sweden sort of always compete for the highest as number one, but Iceland is always in the 1 or 2 spot as one of the happiest countries in the world to live in. And I think that comes from nature itself and the fresh air. And our tourism has risen drastically. I like to say dramatically because I think it should be a word, but drastically in the last 10, 11, I'd say 15 years even. But when I first moved here, nobody knew where Iceland was. Today, everyone, their grandmother's been there. And people tell me all the time about Iceland and tell me that things that I don't know better, but they know better than I do, which is great. And I love that when people educate me on Iceland that have been there. It's really fun instead of asking me if it's in Alaska. So it's much better that way. So I'm really excited about this. This guy is skiing and he's, thank you. Can you go back? So this is kind of risky skiing from what it looks like to me. So this is like extreme skiing. So you would have to take an extreme guide to do this. But we do have skiing, but we don't have like Swiss Alps skiing, but we do have skiing in Iceland. So if you like skiing, definitely you can do that, but well worth it if you like extreme. You can do very mild sort of nature hikes, or you can do the extreme nature. So if you want to do the extreme and you're an adrenaline junkie, Iceland's definitely for you. But if you're not and you love nature, Iceland's definitely for you, and everything in between. So it's something for everyone. Nature lovers, whether it's just taking a walk in nature and breathing the beautiful clean air, or if you really like the adrenaline pumping, it's for you as well. Next slide, please, Courtney. Why Iceland? Well, we have exceptional connectivity via submarine cables. Iceland made sure they'd be very well connected to the world. Even for a very small population, we're probably the best connected country in the world when it comes to internet connection. And I think actually Gunnar would be better with this one, but as you can see by just looking at this picture.
Showing the infrastructure, which is why Iceland is so connected, which is
Right.
one of the things that I think is so fantastic. You can work from Iceland, and this is kind of why. The connectivity and access to the internet is exceptional, and this kind of shows you why that's the case and what they did.
Exactly. I mean, 99% of Icelanders are connected to the internet. I mean, that's the highest percentage in Europe, and it's definitely higher than in the US. Next slide, please. I think this is Gunnar.
Yeah, I think so.
Gunnar, I think you can take over now.
Gotta unmute you.
So I'm on now. Hello, everyone. So my name is Gunnar Thoroddsen. I'm actually located in Iceland at the moment. Time is now 8:30 p.m. So we're 5 hours ahead of you guys. I'm a lawyer, as was indicated. I'm also working with the developer. I'm co-owner of the developer. So I'm happy to be here. Yeah, a few things on our energy, green energy. We actually have hold one of our world records is actually in being one of the greenest economies of the world. We have a world record actually in, I believe, in space heating, which mostly comes from geothermal. So we take the heat out of the earth essentially, and we take this through pipes to the buildings, and then we heat them either with regulators or with floor heating. And this generally is relatively cheap and is a very, very healthy option and good for the environment. Now our electricity comes from hydropower mainly, but also from geothermal, where we harness the energy from the steams that come from the earth. And we have developed quite advanced technologies in harnessing this energy. So next slide. We have been quite actually successful in handling this horrible pandemic. We have had these waves, of course, as most of the countries, but generally we've been able to deal with this in a very good manner. We initially, when this all started, we assigned professionals to deal with how to all the reactions and the regulations. There were no politics involved at all. So the experts, they were in the forefront and managed the whole situation. And generally the public joined in applying all the various measures of having masks and different proximity, distance measures and so forth. So our current situation is actually quite good. We have, I believe, 1.4 persons infected for the last 14 days. So almost no one has COVID in Iceland at the moment. I think we have 11 people in hospitals at the very moment. So this is all quite good. Of course, it has to do with the fact that we, as an island, have been able to close off the country to some extent. So what we have put in place is certain measures at the border, where we control very carefully those that come in. We do tests, and typically when you come to Iceland, you have to do a COVID test. Then you are supposed to be in a quarantine for 5 days. Then you have a second test, and if you're okay, if you're positive or negative essentially, then you're okay. But otherwise, you have to be quarantined for longer time. And we have actually been able to also react quite well to infections when they come up by basically calling and hunting down those people, locating where they have been. So we are able to trace quite well those infections that have come up. So all in all, we've dealt with this quite well. During the pandemic, a lot of people have been working from home, and this is actually because we have a very good penetration rate of the internet generally, and people are in general very technology savvy. Every 5-year-old would have a mobile phone, and people are very used to working on computers. Mostly everything is done online, all banking. We hardly hold cash anymore. Everything is e-commerce. You pay with your phone or your watch or whatever you have, and so So people have it has been a relatively easy transition into working from home. While recognizing this, we actually made changes to our regulations where we have made this availability for foreigners to come here and have a special kind of work from home visa, where you essentially are employed then with a foreign company. Then you come to Iceland and you can stay here in Iceland working for this foreign company on a special visa for up to 6 months with relatively easy visa to get. Basically, it's an application that you fill in. You provide certain information about yourself, and then this visa is granted. So it's a quite good option to have, and could fit quite well for those who are interested in investing in Iceland and a property to keep working from within the US, but be located in your newly purchased apartment in Iceland. Now, on our regulatory framework in general, I should say that we are quite advanced, Western or international in that sense. So generally, all laws, regulations, contracts, anything you would find in the US, you will find as well in Iceland. We are very used to doing business with foreigners. A lot of international investors have their holdings in Iceland, either in individual properties, they hold companies, they come here to work, and so on. More or less everyone speaks English in Iceland, so we are really used to working with foreign investors. Generally, our framework is basically within the EU, so the European area. Yeah, that's a slide. So the EEA or European or Economic Area. This is our regulatory framework. And then we are part of the World Trade Organization, and we have several double tax treaties with different countries. And what is important in this context that we actually have it's not a free trade agreement with the US, but we have a double tax treaty with the US, which basically serves the purpose of making sure that you would not be paying taxes in two countries for the same income or for the same sale of your investment. So whether you've been taxed in Iceland or if you are taxed in the US, this treaty makes sure that you will not be paying the taxes 2 times over. So next slide, please. Now, when it comes to buying a condo in Iceland, generally speaking, as I said, foreign investors are making investments in Icelandic properties and companies all the time. Now, when it comes to property, Iceland, as I believe many countries, have certain restrictions for foreigners, where generally the governments would like to follow what type of investments are being made when the investor is a foreigner. For people within the EU, this is relatively no problem. So there's no license or permit required. But for people outside of the EU, so meaning US in this context, there is an application that needs to be filed with the Ministry of Justice. And the regulation states that you are only allowed to purchase one property. You have to fill in an application. You have to also apply for a personal identification number, and this is a technicality merely for the purpose of registration. So once you register or you hold the title of a property, it would be in your name, and for that purpose, you would need to have this personal identification number. Now, all in all, the process is what you generally would find in the US. There should be no big surprises. You have essentially, you start with you make an offer for the property. You do a reservation agreement. Next step is a purchase agreement, and then you have a deed for your property. Then the property is registered in your name. It is filed with the property registry. The registry has the purpose of actually making the whole process very, very transparent. So it essentially means that this public registry holds every encumbrance, every lien or mortgage, or whatever you would have on the property. So what is there is what is, and there is no surprises or nothing else that should come up. Generally, we have a very strong consumer or buyers protection laws that make sure there are no mistakes made. The warranty, implied warranty when buying, especially when you're buying a new property, is quite strong. It means essentially that you get a specification together with a purchase agreement where you will find all what the property should include, and if it doesn't, then it's essentially the seller's obligation to make sure it has those features. You are generally protected during the transaction by the law that involves the real estate agent. So involved in each transaction is a licensed real estate agent that has by law the responsibility to protect the interest of both buyer and the seller.
So, Gunnar, I don't mean to interrupt, but just a couple of questions I've been seeing flash in here. So, down payment would be 2,500 to 5,000 with the reservation agreement, 5 to 10% down with the actual purchase contract. The U.S. part of that of the process is the reservation agreement, and that we would do here. And just so everybody feels safe, we hold the money here. And that's part of the discussions that we've had with Gunnar and the developers. So the money is not going to be held in Iceland. It will be held here in the US in our escrow accounts. And that won't be turned over until we actually have a closing. So as far as, the offer deposit, if you will, or the reservation agreement, it's not much more. Like I said, it's 2,500 to 5,000, and then 5 to 10% depending on the unit. So I'm sorry, Gunnar, not to interrupt, but I just wanted to answer those questions.
Exactly. Very good points. And then what happens actually when then the payment is made, then from the reservation account, your escrow account in the US, it is made directly into the account of the real estate broker. And during this process, the obligation, and this real estate broker is licensed and insured. There's an insurance company backing this person up, and that agent also has an escrow account. But the point is that everything is registered then in the property registry. So there's no risk of any mismatch there. At the end, you get a title to your property that is registered, and then generally, as I said, the real estate agent has the responsibility to cover the interest of both parties. But what we might see in a transaction where there is a U.S. buyer, it would be quite normal that this buyer would have a legal representation, and there are several Icelandic law firms that are quite accustomed to be working with foreign investors, and they have offices abroad as well. So that will be quite fine, and we would even be able to provide a list of recommended attorneys that could be of support.
So one thing I want to point out as well, one of the reasons why we're able to do this is because we're working in partnership with a broker on the ground in Iceland. So we have a broker that's licensed in Iceland and down located where the project is, who we're working in conjunction with. So that's a lot of why we're able to do what we're doing.
Right. And one just additional technicality in terms of the actual contract and the law that would be applied. As this is a property located in Iceland, the registration and title will remain in Iceland. The law governing the transaction is Icelandic law, just to be clear. Obviously, once doing the reservation agreement, making the deposit in the escrow with Bremens and Company, I would assume this would be under U.S. law. But once you enter into the contract in Iceland for the Icelandic property, you'll be covered by Icelandic law. But as I said, the legal environment is secure. It is designed to protect the interest of a consumer, of the buyer, and very generally speaking, you will find yourself in a legal environment very, very similar to anywhere in Europe or even the UK. So normally, or generally speaking, there should be no surprises in what you find while doing business in Iceland. So I'll be happy to clarify or to answer any questions that can come up at a later stage. So thank you very much.
So we will be answering questions at the end. Margaret, I'm going to let you take over here for why Reykjavik. What is this? What is this that we're looking at? What is this event? Do you know?
This is this looks like it's from Arnarhóll, from where I can see. Am I right, Gunnar?
Yes.
Yes, it's Arnarhóll, which statue of I guess we look at him as the founder of Iceland, 874. So Reykjavik is the capital of Iceland, which actually literally stands for Smoky Bay. And when apparently it was settled, there was a lot of smoke coming up from the ground, which is where geothermal energy comes from.
And I should actually add, maybe I should add that this picture, it might have been taken in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
During the summer.
Maybe that's the midnight sun over there.
Yeah.
So the one thing I did forget to mention, because I was a little nervous, but now I'm kind of calming down after hearing Gunnar speaking, and he did such a great job. So Iceland in the summertime has about, well, almost 24 hours of daylight in June, July. And for some reason, in certain areas of Iceland, during the day, it tends to be more windy. So when the day sort of gets on with it, the wind calms down more. So Icelanders love to golf, but they really like to golf at night. So you can actually go golfing at midnight, which is awesome. Where can you go golfing at midnight? And by the ocean. I mean, that's something amazing. So if you're a big golfer, you can also go golfing. I forget to mention that. So you can you can go swimming, you can go golfing, you can do a lot of amazing things. And I think that's really important because people don't think of golfing when you go to Iceland. So yes, golfing is a big thing in Iceland too. So you're looking at Arnarhóll, and actually Austurhöfn is very close to Arnarhóll. It's literally a minute walk away. So you're looking at the oceans where the people are sitting there looking towards the harbor as they're sitting at Arnarhóll. So I was lucky enough to be able to fly to Iceland this past summer of 2020 because I'm an Icelandic citizen, so I was allowed into the country. I did have to go through the swap and all that, and it was no big deal. It was very easy. So if you decide to travel to Iceland, you get permission from the Icelandic government to travel. I think that's going to change in May or June. You have to put a tracker on your phone which I actually still have a track on my phone. And once in a while I get a thing from Iceland saying, can we still keep tracking you? And I'm like, sure, if you want to track me in Boston, go for it. Very simple to do, but I was there. I got to see the property and meet the people working on the property, the people who were just building it and the people who were in charge of building it. And I have to say, and I did Repton Place in Watertown. I was at North Point and Longwood Towers, and I've seen a lot of property in the Boston area, and I have never seen anything this well built in my life. It was it's unbelievable. I mean, they thought of everything. The detail, I've never seen such detail. It was nothing was missed.
Courtney, we're gonna move you along. Margaret, just
Sorry, it was so
Courtney,
amazing.
slide.
Different slide. So the uniqueness of this too is that we have the Edition Hotel, and the Edition Hotel is only located in the world top cities. And there's also the Studio 54 partnerships with the Marriott International, and Marriott International is actually which heads the Edition hotels. You can move on to the next slide, Courtney.
Well, while we're on that hotel too, one of the great things too is the services that the hotel
services, which
Osterhofer will also have access to, which is fantastic.
But yeah, they will. So if you own a condominium have a residence at Österhöp, you will have access to the services from the hotel if you so wish to have. And that is, they have a spa there, and concierge service and butler service, food service. They're going to have an amazing restaurant, a couple of restaurants.
That's something we work with the developer on, and they were able to put that in place for this development, which is great.
Exactly.
So here, Margaret, if you can go over
yes,
how close it is to everything, you can see how fantastic a location this is.
Yes, it's an unbelievable location. So you're not just in the center of Reykjavik, you're in the center of Reykjavik, downtown. So you look at the harbor here. So you see this cruise line right there, and that cruise ship is right in front of Österhöp, the actual condominium. And there you have the Harpa, which is our, Iceland's always wanted a music hall or an opera house, like the Sydney has their beautiful opera house. This is our version of that. It is stunning on the inside. It's an amazing building, and it's beautiful. And then we have the Reykjavik edition next to that, and then we have Österhöp, the beautiful condominiums. The National Bank of Iceland will be in front of that there, and it's going to be built in a way, from what I've seen from the actual building, in a bit of a Nordic style fashion, from our old style fashion. The building is still being built, so I didn't get to see that.
Could you just go over the shopping really quick? You had said.
And then the shopping, which is Reykjavik, which is Reykjavik is right where you see the cruise ship. That's the street right there. You have a lot of really high-end luxury shops all over Reykjavik, and the clothing, amazing clothing. And I used to think that I didn't like shopping until I always go to Iceland, because Iceland has great boutique shops.
So would it be like
men's and women's clothing, high-end Armani, Gucci? I mean, whatever you want, Reykjavik has to offer, and it's all within a couple of minutes of walking. Amazing restaurants. I mean, high-end quality foods. Seafood is amazing, and the chefs in Iceland are amazing. I mean, it's just, and if you're a wine lover, we have amazing wine. If you're a vodka lover, beer, we have great beer. We make great beer too. So
we got to push this along because we want to have
next one. So here we have the map of the center of the center. Oh yeah, there it is. Prime location. There it is, and that's Reykjavik. And you see how well it is. And here is why Reykjavik, because it is a very cultural city. You have the venue, which is Harpa right here. We have our fashion designers. We have a lot of great Icelandic fashion designers, our culture heritage, art museums, a lot of art, a lot of museums. We have a lot of great music scenes and a lot of music festivals. We have one in the fall that actually a lot of foreign producers come to now to find new talent. So it's a very popular thing for a lot of artists to come and hope to be discovered. And then here we have the Winter Light Festivals, Secret Solstice in June. And as you can see, like I said, Reykjavik is it's a very fun city, and it may be small, but we're fun. And as you can see here again, we have marathons, International Film Festival. And I have to say, if you're ever gonna have a New Year's Eve like you've never had before, you have to do it in Reykjavik, in Iceland, because every person has can buy fireworks and shoot them up themselves.
Margaret, really quickly, as far as climate, we had said it's 4 seasons, correct?
It's 4 seasons, and the climate in Iceland is 4 seasons, but the weather in Iceland is very temperate. So our summers never get too hot. So it's about 50s to 60 degrees, but our winters don't get too cold. So it's around 32 to 50. I've been in Iceland on New Year's Eve and it's been 50 degrees. And I've also been in Iceland in June, it's 50 degrees. So it's kind of hit or miss. So you always travel like it's fall, even in the summertime, always bring fall weather. But when it's 65 degrees and sunny in Iceland, it is amazing. And I've been in Iceland when it's beautiful day in the summertime, and you go to a shop and it's like closed due to weather. And I see like tourists going, why is it closed to the weather? And you're like, because it's a beautiful day out.
So this slide really quick shows the really high-end hotels that are additions. So you can see that they are spectacular, and they have chosen Reykjavik as their newest location. So it's very impressive. This is showing you more about the hotel, the nightclub that Margaret already went over. There is the gym, restaurants are phenomenal. These are the services that that you can have access to through the hotel, which has been arranged. So, you know, the spa, the gym, room service, the butler service, laundry, concierge, transportation arrangements. That's all stuff that we're fortunate enough to have access through this 5-star hotel. Margaret, I'll let you describe this a little bit. Have you been there?
Oh yeah, I actually got a private tour because I actually worked with the opera director named Steinun at Algiers Cafe in Harvard Square a million years ago. And so I got a private tour of all the different music halls, which was amazing. And this is our Harpa. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful. And at nighttime, they make different lights on all the glass there. It's beautiful. You actually have to just go there and see it in person. It's hard to describe.
European Union Prize for Contemporary Architecture.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
You have to see it in person. It's hard to describe.
The food hall, you want to talk about that real quick?
So the first floor of Österhöfn is commercial space. That commercial space has been sold. And in one area on the corner of where you saw the cruise ship, that corner is going to be a restaurant. It's on 2 floors, and that will be a restaurant. What type of restaurant it's going to be, I don't know that yet, but the people who bought it, they tend to emphasize on Nordic culture and cuisine, so that will be great. And I think there's one thing we should mention. This is important. The garage that's under the residence is very, very large. So if you're there enjoying yourself in the wintertime, or if the weather is not great and you really want to go, if you don't want to go to this restaurant, you actually don't have to leave and go outside. You can walk through the garage and into the hotel and dine there, or you can walk all the way into Harpa without ever going outside. And I think
you're actually walking underneath in that situation.
I'm sorry?
Are you actually walking underneath?
Yeah, you're walking underneath the garage.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, which is great.
Okay. That's what you were just talking about. The street runs from the city hall to the center of Reykjavik. That's
so you can go into the hotel, have yourself a great meal and a couple of drinks, or if you want to go see a show or an event at Harpa, you don't have to walk outside. You can actually go through the garage.
That's
You never
amazing.
have to go outside.
Next slide. Okay, this is the actual buying process and what we would be going through. So you're going to visit the website, which is icelandwaterfrontluxury.com. We've oriented that to the U.S. market, so we've certainly made it more user friendly. You can see details about the units. You can call us for pricing. Like I said, the 70 units, and they start at 480,000. The 2-bedroom, you just put under, it was a 2-bedroom, correct, Margaret?
Yes, 2-bedroom.
And that was around 1.1 million or so for that particular unit. So when you're, depending on what units you're interested in, you'll receive prices. You'll speak with us. Margaret would be happy to go over pricing with you. If you're interested, you actually get literally a book, which is pretty large, professionally done. It's incredible. It's kind of along the lines of this presentation. It's got floor plans. It's got stuff about the culture. It's got details about the building. The books are incredibly impressive. We can't give them to anybody and everybody, but if you're interested and you've looked at the website, that would be the next step. We're going to send you that book that will really let you dive into the details of the project. Once you decide you want a unit, we'll fill out a reservation agreement, 2,500 to 5,000 when we do that. Once all that is settled, you will go into the Icelandic contract, and that's where you will be putting down the 5 to 10% deposit. Again, to reiterate, we will be holding that in our escrow accounts here in Boston. The remainder of the 20% down payment is when you close, just like if you're buying a piece of property here, that down payment could go up to 30%. As mentioned before as well, we are giving referral fees to any buyers that you will send us, and they're generous referral fees. So feel free to call us if you have any questions, and there's no question, we'd be extremely happy to help you. Margaret, you traveled to Iceland, so you could be going there to show some units potentially if necessary, correct? This particular buyer that you got did not even take a look, but we also have a camera on the building 24/7, which Gunnar was happy to accommodate us on. So you can actually see the view from the building any time of day from the website, which is fantastic. But yeah, that's one thing we had talked about, and one thing we took this on as well, because Margaret will travel there and can actually show you the unit, believe it or not. And I'm sure she's happy to do so. I know we have a lot of volunteers, so that certainly is not going to be a problem if you want to get over there. More the issue is the quarantining. Next step, next slide. So yeah, now we can open it up, I guess, to Q&A. Dick, I don't know if you want to take charge of that.
Sure. Yeah. So awesome. Hey guys, awesome presentation. I mean, I would love to get out to Iceland, preferably in the summer, because why go from cold to cold? I mean, it's warmer there than it is here today. But I want to be there in the summer and experience midnight with the sun up, because I've never done that in my entire 50-year lifespan. So yeah, so let me go through some of the Q&As that come through here. I think we cover some of them, but I'll go through some of them here. Average cost of a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, Joan Donahue.
Margaret, what do you think?
Average cost of a 2-bedroom, 2-bath?
Yep.
What do we think? What would we say the range is?
It depends on if it's harbor view or if it's courtyard view. I mean, it's anywhere from, we have a 2-bedroom starting at like 900,000. It can go up to over 2 million, depending.
Okay.
And obviously by square footage too. So
Yeah, it's square footage.
the lowest price unit is a 1-bedroom. It is under 500,000. And certainly we'd be happy to go over pricing. But yeah, there's street views, there's garden views, and there's ocean views. So all of that varies the pricing quite a bit.
And also the size of the unit.
Correct. Absolutely.
And what is this is my question. What is the maximum bedrooms you guys offer?
They are all none of them are more than 2 bedrooms, except for there's a few penthouse units that face the harbor, and they're going to be sold raw, meaning you have the opportunity to design it yourself if you wanted to.
Okay. Amanda Howard would like to see a copy of this presentation if possible. Can this be available to all our GBAR members that attended today?
We would love to have it available. You recorded it, and I think a lot of that might have to do with you guys, right? Is that something that you'd be able to help us with?
I would have no issue with it. I guess if GBAR leadership's okay with it, the executive board, I don't see a reason why that can't happen, right? If you guys are willing to allow us, then it's okay. And we've already answered this question. Do you need an agent to show the unit in Iceland? I go there every 2 or 3 months, except now where we're not allowed. I'm very familiar with the area. I would love to help with this. I'm passionate about everything Icelandic. So I think, so Margaret, you can show it, right? Because you're showing it already.
Well, so the way we're working it now is that, so I just put a unit under agreement. There are a couple of more units that have sold in Iceland by the Icelandic, our partners in Iceland, the Icelandic brokers that we're, the firm we're dealing with in Iceland.
Mhm.
So basically, I had them video a couple of the units that this particular buyer was interested in, who was in California. And so he bought his site on scene. So, we can do Zoom because, not right now with the COVID, nobody's allowed to travel unless you are an Icelandic citizen to Iceland, or you're married to an Icelandic citizen, example, or you get a special permission from the Icelandic government. So right now, you can't just travel and show a unit. No. Could I do it? Yes. Is it necessary for me to do it? No, it's not necessary for me to do it right now because I have the partners in Iceland to do it for me. If needs was, and there's a buyer who is absolutely wants to go there and we get a special permission for them to go there, that might be possible. But for somebody right now at this moment, unless they want to go through quarantine, but they would need a special permission from the
The other
Icelandic.
thing I wanted to touch on really quick is the quality. So I know you guys can't see the units.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you that the building code in Iceland is stringent. And I'm going to also tell you that this project far exceeds even the most stringent building codes. It goes way beyond the quality that they have put into this building. Like Margaret said, it's extremely impressive and it goes well past the building codes. This is something that will be fantastic for a long time to come. And it's a high-end product and they've built it that way.
I know we talked about temperature, but what is the summer temperatures? There seems to be a lot of swimming areas.
Well, Icelander will swim in the middle of a blizzard. They love swimming. That's like
They have the natural hot springs.
so our pools are warm. So we have outside pools, and it's mandatory to learn to swim in Iceland as part of our school curriculum. So, everybody swims, and, there's a, kind of joke that goes around in Norway. You learn how to stand on skis before you learn how to walk. I think Icelandic babies learn how to float before they learn how to, crawl, because we're all we're in the pool. So yeah, there's pools on every corner in Iceland, and in nature, we just pools is our thing, so yes, we like our geothermal pools.
So looking at the presentation, I guess the temperatures could go as high as 77, but that's not normal.
That's not the norm. No, our norm is like, Gunnar, would you say like 50 to 60 degrees, like 60 maybe in the summer?
Yeah, that range. Yeah.
So when you're in the sun in Iceland in the summertime, it feels much warmer than 60 degrees here for some reason.
Is it more because you're closer to the sun and, almost like when,
I don't know what it is, but it's something, I don't know. You walk outside and if you're in the shade, it's like, oh, it's kind of cold. So you kind of put the jacket on, and then as soon as you walk into the sun and you're like, wow, it's so hot. And you kind of take your jacket off and then your sweater off. It just feels much warmer in the sun when you're in the sun. So, but no, Iceland is not a place that you go bring your summer dress and your sandals and go, lay in the sun in your bikini. It's not a Caribbean island destination. It's an island destination, but not.
I see. I'm sorry, Margaret. I see a question that popped up. which is something that they do here in the States. They do a 1-year builder's warranty. Can you tell us about the warranty with the unit?
So I think what we need to, the way we look at it, it's called, Iceland has very strict consumer protection laws. I think that's where we should put it. So when I was talking to the head of construction in Iceland of this particular building, when I asked him about, the building codes, he was very proud. He goes, "We have the same building codes as Japan." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So Japan has the strictest building laws in the world, and so now does Iceland. So it is basically consumer protection laws extends about 10 years when it comes to the building itself, meaning if something goes wrong with the building, like the cement is flawed or anything like that, then the consumer is protected. Am I right, Gunnar? Is that kind of how we explain that? Gunnar?
It's a very strong consumer-friendly country.
Yeah.
So 1-year warranty would be included.
So,
well, there's actually it is essentially more than a 1-year warranty. That means after 1 year you actually you have a warranty. If something comes up that should have been well constructed, but you find out only 3 years later, there's a warranty against that. But it depends on what it is. I mean, if it's a sink, and then it might be just 2 years. But if it is a construction of the building itself, like Michael said, it's a cement, it's a roof.
yeah.
There's some flaws in the design. It's much longer than 1 year.
Okay, thank you. And we have a question from Facebook from our past president, Mr. Jim Major. Do they allow short-term rentals? Do you allow short-term rentals?
They do allow short-term rentals, but they do not allow you to use Airbnb and etc.
And is it managed on-site? Is it an on-site management company?
No, there's a management company, but it's not on site, but there will be a concierge.
Okay, thank you. Jim has another question. When's the next broker open house?
And
Oh God, I wish we could get on a plane and have that this weekend. Wouldn't that be awesome?
What we should say is I believe we can say that the building's like 90 to 95% complete. Is that fair, Gunnar?
Yeah, it's actually most of the apartments are actually ready. But ready means we deliver them typically without the wooden floors, in a sense that we allow the purchaser to select the type of floors. So once that has been done, we just have to put in the floors. It takes a few days, and then they're ready to be delivered. The final completion date of the total project is set as mid-March. So delivery of beginning April is something we can stand by.
And then is there any other selections other than the floor?
In terms of now there's flooring, but there's variety of carpentry, and basically none of the unit is designed in the same way. So there's a large variety of options that you already have. But what we decided early on to do is to deliver the almost final but the highest quality product we can produce, essentially. So that meant we put in all the lighting, the floor heating, all the smart home infrastructure is there. So it's totally ready, and it's luxurious. It has more or less all the features. What you can have is you can select which type of floors you will have, but then you have several smart home upgrade options. You can take this quite far, actually. You can control the window shades. You can control the heating, the ventilation, lighting, obviously, and sound, and everything from your mobile phone or from an iPad in your unit. So those are mostly the options. But then when it comes to interior design, we have a few actually designers available, or we can point to, that can do quite nice features by adding, you know, panels on walls and do all kinds of decorating things to customize even further that we have done already.
Great, great.
Answer
We have
Max.
about 4 minutes left for our event here. One last question, Maxine Berman. I know we covered it, but she came in a little late. Is what are the prices? Where do they start and where do they go?
So they start, the 1-bedroom start at $480, $490, I believe. The two bedrooms, I'll have to check. I think they were 800 plus. We will have to double check on that. But the 2-bedroom that Margaret just sold, like we had said, that was at like 1.1. But so yeah, the starting point is 480 or 490, and then we can try to break it down from there, depending on whether they're interested in 1 or 2 bedrooms.
They can also just get in touch with us, me or Steven, and we can, we'll have the price list in front of us and sort of give them an idea. One thing I think we need to also make clear to the broker, when people purchase, the purchase, when they get the purchase contract, it will state it's in Icelandic kroners, because the Icelandic krona the price in the Icelandic krona will never change. But the dollar amount might change a little bit due to currency fluctuation, but the Icelandic krona amount will never change.
Is the dollar amount that you're reporting now, is this based on US dollars, Stephen?
When we're saying that price, we're saying it in US dollars.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But Margaret's right. So there's a lot of fluctuation that can go on because of currency changes. So
Yeah.
we cannot commit. If we talk to someone and give them a price today, we can't commit to that price tomorrow if the currency has changed. So you do obviously want to lock in a price. Obviously, if the dollar is stronger, it's going to.
Yeah, but the price, we will give you the price in the Icelandic krona as well, but the price in the Icelandic krona will never change.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But the dollar amount might change a little bit because of the fluctuation in the currency. But the Icelandic money, the Icelandic krona, as we call our money in Iceland, that price will never change. That will stay constant. So we'll give you both pricing. So we'll give you the Icelandic, this is the amount in Icelandic krona, which today represents this US dollar. But the Icelandic krona price will always remain the same.
Thank you. And I guess I'll end this event with my final question here is, are there any restrictions to resale? Is there a deed restriction, anything that we should be aware of?
No, it's a very good point. There is, as we explained, there are certain restrictions or licenses that you require when entering into the contract. But once you hold the title to the property, there are no restrictions on sale. The only thing obviously you need to take care of is taxes, and then as we mentioned, there are these double tax treaties between the countries, so you will not be taxed twice on that sale.
Awesome.
But you're free to sell to a foreigner, to an Icelander, or to whoever you want on the market.
Got it. Thank you, Governor. And one last question that popped in, and we are done. What are the restrictions in regards to renting out your units? Is there a minimum stay requirement? I know that you said there's no Airbnb, but is there a minimum stay? Is it a 6-month lease, 3-month lease, or what's it? What are the terms?
No, you have essentially the only restriction in place is that because actually we have a hotel next door. This is a restriction that we put in place in cooperation with the hotel. It essentially covers that we are not supposed to run, and we don't want to run competition with the hotel next door. That's essentially what it's about. So you cannot run a hospitality or hotel operation from your apartment, also including Airbnb. You cannot buy this to maintain as a business while doing short-term rentals. Having said that, you can obviously and easily do long-term contracts, and that means actually under the laws in Iceland that you enter into a lease with essentially no time limit. You simply have a termination period of, it could be 1 month or 3 months, depending, or you can do a timed contract. But there are no restrictions on such leasing. So you can easily buy this property for the purpose of renting it out.
So can you rent it out weekly without a problem?
You can rent it out weekly, but there's limitation, as we said, on short-term rental. It covers that you cannot rent on short-term leases, so weekly or daily, more than 90 days per year. So that's really the limit.
90 days per year for a short term, but you could do a 1 year lease if it's a fixed.
Yeah, easily. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yes,
No
easy.
restrictions on that. Yeah.
So you
yeah.
could do weekly rentals as long as the total weekly rentals did not exceed 90 days. Is that right?
Yes, right. But essentially, just to be simplified, you would not be buying this property to do a business like Airbnb business out of the unit, but you can easily buy it for the purpose of having rental yields on this as any other investment. So you would then rent to a foreigner, to an Icelander, but then just on a long-term lease, which, as I said before, is essentially can be without any time limit. So you can terminate in a 3 months or 1 month notice.
Are there property taxes?
There are property taxes annually that would amount to, I think it's somewhere around less than 1%
Wow.
annually. So that is just what everyone needs to comply with. Nothing special for foreign investors.
Great. So with that said, I want to thank all of you, all the panelists. Thank you, Gunnar, for staying up with us, way out there in Iceland. It's nighttime right there. It's only summertime that the sun is out till midnight. Right?
Correct. It's dark outside.
Okay, so got it. If everybody could like the GBAR Facebook page, like our Global Council Facebook page, we'd greatly appreciate that. And I thank you guys again for being on this event. I loved it. I loved every second of it. Steve, I'm going to call you later on. I got some crazy ideas.
Okay.
But watch out for your emails for our next International Connection event. It's going to be coming up pretty shortly. And until then, everybody have a great afternoon and evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.